Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
Jerome Fitzgerald gets big support for nomination day. The story coming up.
Prime Minister Christie nominates for the Centerville constituency. That story straight ahead.
The leader of the Free National Movement, Dr. Hubert Minnis, officially nominates to be the Member of Parliament for Killarney. That story is coming up tonight, straight ahead.
Well, a crowd of supporters came out all in green today to support DNA leader Granville McCartney as he's been officially nominated.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Topping news tonight, just 1 year after he read the private emails of Save the Bay's members in Parliament, Marathon Member of Parliament Jerome Fitzgerald had his emails to Bahama developer Sarkis Ismailian printed in the Tribune newspaper. The emails showed that Fitzgerald sought to lock down Bahama contracts, which would have gotten his family's company some big bucks. Kyle Joaquin tells us more.
Despite this morning's Tribune headline, dozens of PLP supporters came out to support Jerome Fitzgerald for nomination day. Dancing to Junkanoo music, a jubilant Fitzgerald, flanked by dozens of PLP supporters, marched to C.I. Gibson Senior High this morning, where he was officially nominated as the PLP's candidate for Marathon. His nomination comes as a Tribune article thrusts the MP into the spotlight. The story included alleged email correspondence between Fitzgerald and former Bahama developer Sarkis Ismailian, where it is alleged the cabinet minister reportedly sought to secure millions of dollars in brokerage, trucking, and limousine contracts at Bahama. Just this past Tuesday, Fitzgerald and Attorney General Alison Maynard Gibson denied having personal business interests in Bahama. Today, after his nomination, Fitzgerald wouldn't say much on the matter.
I'm going to have a press statement on that later, so I'll respond to that later.
Later today? Or?
Yeah, today, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some people say you should.
I'll respond to that. I'll respond to that later today.
In one email released by the Tribune, Fitzgerald seeks to solidify a relationship between China State Construction and Bahamas Cargo Limited for BCL, a company owned by Fitzgerald's family, to collect paperwork and clear shipments for the resort. In another email dated May 18, 2013, Fitzgerald writes Ismailian requesting a brokerage contract. He writes, as indicated, we are ready to start brokerage and trucking for the Bahama project and remain the brokers after opening. I would really appreciate it if we could be appointed your official broker for June 2013. But still, no answer from Fitzgerald.
Any other questions? Okay, so once I respond, then you'll be able to judge from that. Okay? Hear my response first.
In that statement, Fitzgerald said, I have no contract with Bahama or any of its affiliates, nor do I own any shares in Bahamas Cargo and Logistics, which is a company formed by my father many years ago. Nothing in today's Tribune contradicts that. Sarkis Ismailian and I have communicated on any number of matters over the past 8 years, either in person or by email. Prior to my father's illness, he had engaged in discussions with Bahama to get some work. After my father's illness, I wrote to Sarkis to follow up on those discussions and seek his assistance. Nothing came out of it, and that remains the case today. Reporters also sought to get a response from Prime Minister Christie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Jerome Fitzgerald and Sarkis Ismailian, the report to show that he appealed.
This is just the latest scandal to rock the Christie administration involving Fitzgerald. The MP was embroiled in controversy last year after he read the private emails of Save the Bay's members in Parliament, and a year before that, the report on the Marathon Rubis fuel spill. Environmental attorney and Free National Movement candidate for Marathon, Ramal Ferreira, said it's not a good look for the Marathon MP.
I don't think that the Bahamian people aren't foolish, and they're going to take into account all relevant circumstances. And obviously this is a relevant circumstance to be taken into account. And changes in the air, you can feel it. It's palpable.
My opponent has been caught up in a lot of scandals. I think moving forward, Bahamians, I think, and especially residents of Marathon, need to look at, looking for somebody who can actually represent them.
But despite this latest bout of controversy just before the general election, Fitzgerald's nomination went on.
See, the team is ready. We're excited, we're motivated, and we're going to march through the finish line. And God willing, victory will be ours. Yeah! Victory!
Reporting for our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, music, flags, Junkanoo rushouts, and dozens of supporters flocked to the Centerville Primary School this morning as Prime Minister Christie and other candidates for the Centerville constituency were nominated. The Prime Minister revealed that this will be his last time running as a candidate. Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
Christie revealed today that this will be his final time nominating for the constituency, as he was flocked by followers and even some surprising supporters.
Today is a very historic day in that this would be the final time that I nominate for the Centerville constituency. I have had, I think by any accounts, a wonderful, wonderful time as the representative. I've had extraordinary support from the people of Centerville.
Christie arrived with a large motorcade just before 11 this morning amid cheers from his supporters.
One leader, no mix up. One leader, one deputy. PLP, Barry Christie, the man, the only leader.
Notwithstanding the difficulties many of them face, they are prepared to accept that the PLP has done a sufficiently good job and deserves another opportunity. Amen. That is my hope. Most certainly it is the wish and expectation of all of us.
Outspoken activist and talk show host Rodney Moncur was among them. He said while he is a card-carrying member of the Free National Movement, he endorses the Prime Minister but will not be voting.
Oh, I support Christie. Let there be no doubt. I support Christie. I'm going to the beach because no one has asked me to reconsider, so I'm heading to the beach. But Christie, I'm with Christie.
Also offering his support to the Prime Minister was John Chippy Chipman, who is the grandfather of the PM's FNM opponent, Reese Chipman.
This man is Chipman, after whom a street was named. His grandson is a candidate against me, and do you see what he has done today? It is an extraordinary statement of support for my candidacy, for my legacy, really.
Supporters from both parties faced off just outside the school's gates. Chipman and DNA candidate Charlie Moss both say they're not intimidated by Christie's consecutive wins in this area, insisting he has done little to better the community.
Mr. Christie has been here for 40 years. We've lost 2 generations to a system that he himself was responsible for. He needs to go. Bye-bye, Mr. Christie.
If you can't fix one constituency, how can you run a country? You know, just look at people are using outside toilets around here. Shame on Mr. Christie. Rich in the future? I think not. No matter how much you die here, Mr. Christie.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis has called for Prime Minister Perry Christie to fire Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald and Attorney General Alison Maynard Gibson over the Bahama emails, asserting that the two failed to separate their private affairs from their public duty in their negotiations with Bahama. Minnis released a statement hours after he was asked about the controversy during his nomination. Giorgio Bain reports.
It's the people's time right now. It's the people's time.
With his wife and party chairman by his side, leader of the Free National Movement, Dr. Hubert Minnis, arrived at H.O. Nash Junior High School, led by a Junkanoo rush out of supporters chanting "Rock with Doc." When questioned about the recent leaked email suggesting that Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald sought to secure millions of dollars in brokerage, trucking, and limousine contracts at Bahama from early 2013, Minnis said such actions would not be tolerated by an FNM government. Meanwhile, Chairman Sidney Coley warned that the jaw-dropping allegations concerning Fitzgerald are just the beginning.
The present government has not done a good job in moving the country forward. They've not been transparent, and with this new change team we will go very, very hard on corruption. We will investigate all areas, all departments, all contracts, and where there's any corrupt behavior or corruption that we can determine, those matters will be brought to the courts and be dealt with appropriately.
The FNM leader nominated today following the release of a national survey commissioned by his party. According to the poll, the FNM had a much higher favorability rating than the Progressive Liberal Party and the Democratic National Alliance. 32% of the participants were undecided. The survey consisted of 300 registered voters, and the results show that 56% of the participants favored the Free National Movement. According to Minnis, he and his team will bring the change the country is in desperate need of.
I am honored to have been nominated as the candidate for Kalani, and my other 38 candidates also. As you know, together, I and my candidates represent and will bring forth a change.
Next was the arrival of the PLP candidate Renika Knowles, who says she only needs one chance to get it right.
There are a lot of undecided voters, and to those undecided voters, I would like to touch each and every one of them and show them why is it we need some fresh representation inside of our parliament. We say that we are for the young people. I am here as a representative of the young people. Give us an opportunity. I just need one shot to get it right. One shot, nothing less.
Also nominating for the Killarney constituency is DNA candidate Arinthia Komolafe.
The plans that I have for Killarney are very multifaceted, and what we're focusing on is the promotion of culture, commerce, community, and knowledge.
Reporting for our news, I'm Georgia Bain.
Well, Democratic National Alliance leader Branville McCartney says he's confident in his team heading into the general election, and he hopes to see Bahamians vote for change. April Sands has that story.
Well, DNA leader Branville McCartney says it won't be an easy win this time around, as he feels people are still caught up in political party colors. But he says the country still needs a change. McCartney walked out to a crowd of cheering supporters after he was nominated for the third time since 2007. As the candidate for Bambootown, a constituency he says he has big plans for.
This is do or die for this country. If we put the PLP back in, we finish. And the same thing for the FNM. Don't be fooled. These two parties have been running this country, and they've run it into the ground.
And amid all of the fanfare today, the DNA leader responded to leaked emails allegedly exposing Minister of Education Jerome Fitzgerald. McCartney says he's not surprised.
PLP government is known for these deals, underhanded deals. That is what they're all about. That's their mantra. The question is, did the Prime Minister know about this? Because it was the Prime Minister who appointed Mr. Fitzgerald as one of the lead negotiators in this new sale of Bahama. Is this why the deal has been sealed? Is that these guys are in government, they're in the cabinet, and they're trying to pull deals in relation to for their benefit? But that happened under the FNM too. That ain't nothing new.
McCartney says he believes people will soon get over political colors and keep in mind the country's need for transparency. His comments come on the heels of a survey commissioned by the Free National Movement, which shows that the unfavorability ratings of the PLP and DNA were approximately double that of the FNM. 34% of the 300 registered voters polled had a favorable view of the DNA, while 31% had an unfavorable view.
When the rally is over, you still have your phone bill to pay, you have your electricity bill to pay, you have your mortgage to pay. And we've seen over and repeatedly where persons have gotten caught up in the election cycle, caught up in this color, that color, the different parties. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we realize that we have to make a decision. Now, we have to be very sober-minded about the decision we make.
McCartney said while the DNA's candidate selections were questioned last election, this time around the 35 candidates put forth by the party are second to none. As for the DNA's first mass rally, McCartney urged voters to come out tomorrow night at Windsor Park at 7 p.m. Reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Loretta Butler Turner nominated on Long Island, where she is the incumbent candidate. Sharing a post on social media, Butler Turner was proud to note that Team LBT and the Blue Waves were the first to nominate for that constituency this morning. The now independent candidate then continued her nomination day celebration with a motorcade through Long Island. Butler Turner is running against FNM candidate Adrian Gibson and PLP candidate Glendon Roll. Meanwhile, Grand Bahama also had its share of excitement as candidates on that island nominated. Nina Lang reports.
It was a celebration that could be felt across the island Thursday morning as candidates vying for a seat on Grand Bahama reported to their respective stations for nomination day. Crowds of supporters looked on, waving flags and placards as the election hopefuls completed the nomination process in their relevant constituencies and declared their plans for improving life on the island.
What you're going to see is we're going to be transforming. No longer is the focus going to be only on Freeport. West Grand Bahama is going to be a city of gold, and so will Bimini, cities of gold.
For a very long time, we've been hearing that they're not getting that representation. The needs of the people aren't being met. We want to change that under the Free National Movement. And I think in our slogan this year, it's the people's time. It indicates that we're not just about politics, we're about people, and it's far beyond just political games. We want people to know that their issues and their concerns we're concerned about, and we're going to ensure that they're met.
In Pine Ridge, nominating candidates Dr. Michael Darville and Reverend Frederick McAlpine expressed optimism about their chances in the upcoming general election.
Well, you look at here. This is young people. We have a strong support base that are solid as a rock, and our young people understand that despite the effects of youth unemployment, the Progressive Liberal Party is the one with the plan to begin to give them opportunities, and they're sticking with Dr. D and the PLP.
I'm extremely pleased. And I'm thankful to God for allowing me to be put into the hearts of the people of Pine Ridge. They're a great bit of support, and in this election, I'm also happy that people are crossing party lines even to support me, and for that I'm grateful, and for that I have to simply say to God be the glory.
Incumbent FNM Deputy Leader Peter Turnquest asserted his readiness to bring improvements and some much-needed change to his constituency if re-elected.
I hope that the representation that I've given over the last 5 years recommends me for another 5 years, and hopefully this time with the power to really make the kind of changes that we need in East Grand Bahama and in the Bahamas. I believe that Grand Bahama deserves the kind of representation and respect of that level of office, and certainly it is a humbling and an awesome responsibility. But I am looking forward to the challenge, and we have to make sure that we are, in fact, focused, and that we have the resources committed to this island in terms of promotion, in terms of development of programs, so that the people of Grand Bahama can start to come back to this island. We can start to have a rebirth of not only population, but economy and programs that we were known for when we were called the Magic City.
Voters will head to the polls on Wednesday, May 10th. Reporting from Grand Bahama for our news, I'm Nina Lang.
Still to come on our news, a jitney driver murdered near downtown Nassau, plus a multi-million-dollar mini hospital commissioned in Abaco. Stay with us.